Hello everybody, it's Non-Scene News here, and today we've got a lot to break on day today. So the first news we've gotten today is coming from Russia. We've got news that the President of the Central African Republic has landed in Russia ahead of talks with Putin. So Putin stated within a meeting with the President of the Central African Republic that Russia is ready to continue providing humanitarian aid to the Central African Republic, stated the Russian President Vladimir Putin told the President during their meeting in Moscow. Putin also highlighted that the trade turnover between Russia and the Central African Republic has increased nearly eightfold over the past year, describing the trend as positive despite current modest absolute figures. Both countries continue to collaborate on security matters, Putin added. The president of the Central African Republic, in turn, thanked Russian instructors for their role in strengthening bilateral cooperation during the talks. He also expressed gratitude for Russia's shipment of grain and fuel to the Central African Republic. The president also thanked Putin for support that Russia has helped restore stability in the country of the Central African Republic here. So that's all we've gotten from their meeting between Russia and the Central African Republic. The next news we've gotten today is that Russia held a meeting with the most powerful people in Russia, a lot of officials, a lot of powerful people in Russia. He stated in a Zoom call with a lot of Russian officials that this May we will celebrate the 80th anniversary of the great victory in World War II. In 2025, in Russia, has been announced that the year of Defender of the Motherland. Putin stated. He also stated that we need to make sure that those who have defended our country live dignified lives. So interesting statements from Vladimir Putin. We've also gotten some news today of Putin's peace terms in Ukraine. So we've got news that Putin demands that Ukraine drastically cut back military ties with NATO and become a neutral state with a limited army. Russia also demands that while NATO members may send arms to Ukraine, any such weapon should not be used against Russia or to recapture territory. Russia also wants 20% of Ukraine directly, including Crimea. So this actually includes the Ukrainian side of the Kherson Bank, the city of Zaporozhye, the whole territory of the Donbass region, and obviously Ukraine withdrawing from the Kursk region. So that is Putin's terms to end the war in Ukraine, and obviously Zelensky has very different terms of ending the war. Ukraine is demanding that Russia completely leave everything that is highlighted red that Russia has managed to capture from Ukraine in the 2014 operation and the 2022 invasion. And Ukraine also wants to be a member of NATO. So the two sides have completely different peace terms. So it'll be very interesting how Donald Trump sorts this out. And I'll keep you updated on that. We've also got news today. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, that Russia and Iran are set to sign a major comprehensive strategic partnership on January the 17th, according to the Russian news agency of TASS or TASS. So on the January the 17th, Vladimir Putin plans to meet the president of Iran in Moscow. So if you remember, in June 2024, Putin signed a similar agreement with North Korea, but we've actually gotten some details about this Iranian and Russian comprehensive agreement. So, according to the Iranian foreign minister himself, the new comprehensive partnership agreement between Russia and Iran is aimed at strengthening security and defense cooperation between Iran and Russia. So that does mean military cooperation between the two countries, promoting common security without posing a threat to other nations, facilitating the transfer of renewable energy technologies, collaborating on energy production, transmission, and export, completing the North Korean transport corridor, and boosting trade volumes, and simplifying travel for tourists to enhance cultural ties and make it easier for Iranians to visit Russia and Russians to visit Iran. So, very interesting news. We've also got some news today coming from Ukraine that Russia and Ukraine have conducted an exchange of 50 POWs, prisoners of war, in the first prisoner swap in 2025. We've also got news today that the Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy stated that Ukraine will not compromise on the right to join NATO in the upcoming negotiations aimed at ending the war. The Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy stated that the only effective guarantee for Ukraine is NATO membership. Moreover, Ukraine's membership is a guarantee for NATO's own security. In addition, full membership for Ukraine is, pardon my cynicism, the most cost-effective option for ensuring European security, he emphasized. So, the Ukrainian Foreign Minister stated that Ukraine will not compromise on the right to join NATO. We've also got news today that Ukraine claims that Ukraine has a military force of 880,000 soldiers facing 600,000 Russian troops. So, according to Ukraine, there's 880,000 Ukrainian soldiers compared to 600,000 Russian troops. This is coming from the Kyiv Independent news agency. We've also got news today that the UK will increase the Marlet lightweight multi-role missile production and deliver 650 missiles to Ukraine, according to Army recognition. The UK has committed £162 million to ramp up the production of the LMM and supply 650 of these advanced missile systems to Ukraine. So the Marlet LMM is a lightweight missile and a laser guided missile designed for precision strikes against drones, helicopters, and low-flying aircraft and objects. We've also got news today that Germany has delivered another military aid package to Ukraine. The list has been updated on the German government's website, according to which Ukraine will receive 20 vehicles with mine and ambush protection, 14,155mm grenades, 19,122mm artillery rounds, 600 HV-1s attack drones, 50 vector reconnaissance drones, 46 RQ-35 Herodon reconnaissance drones, ammunition for Leopard 1 tanks, 495 HK-416 assault rifles, and 11,120mm mortar rounds. So that is going to be delivered to Ukraine by Germany. We've also got news today that Poland, as the Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk has announced that Poland is providing Ukraine with its 46th aid package to Ukraine, valued at amount of 200 million euros. The specific content of the package remains undisclosed for security reasons, but deliveries are expected to commence soon. And one of the biggest news today coming from Ukraine is that the Ukrainian parliament votes to extend martial law for another 90 days, up until May the 9th. So, the Ukrainian parliament has decided to extend martial law in Ukraine, so that also means in the constitution of Ukraine that obviously Zelensky will be in power until May the 9th without actually calling elections. So the Ukrainian parliament extends martial law for another 90 days until the May the 9th. And one of the biggest news today is coming from Ukraine, more specifically coming from Kyiv. So the United Kingdom Prime Minister Keir Starmer has arrived in Ukraine. The purpose of the visit is strengthening defense cooperation and economic ties. So the ambassador of Ukraine to the UK, Zaluzhia, so the former armed chief of the Ukrainian army, he stated that the key goal is signing the 100-year partnership agreement and resuming the strategic partnership dialogue to the United Kingdom. And we've just got news like right now that Ukraine and the UK have just signed the 100-year partnership covering defense, energy, and trade. And while the British Prime Minister was actually talking to President Zelensky in a conference, Russia actually launched a drone attack on Kyiv during the meeting between the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The reporter stated during the talks that a Russian drone fell in the center of Kyiv, and the reporter stated to said to Zelensky, "How do you perceive this?" And Zelensky said, "We will send the same greeting," meaning they will strike Moscow soon. So Russia launched a drone attack while the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom was there. We've also got news today that the Italian Defense Minister also arrived in Kiev today on an official visit. During his visit, he is scheduled to hold several meetings with Ukrainian officials, and I'll keep you updated if an Italian aid package ends up being announced. But that's the first news today. That's all the news we've gotten from Ukraine today. Next news is coming from Slovakia. That the Slovakian opposition has submitted a motion of a no confidence, vote in the Prime Minister of Robert Fico to the Parliament of Slovakia. The vote is due to take place within 7 days. So there's an opposition vote of no confidence to the current Prime Minister in Slovakia, Robert Fico. We've also got some news today coming from Germany. That's the German economy shrinks for the second year in a row. The German GDP in 2024 has fell by 0.2% after a 0.3% decline in 2023. This is the second 2-year downturn since the 1950s, the last being in 2002 to 2003. The economic struggles come amid a political uncertainty, with experts stating that this may actually boost support for the AfD party in the upcoming elections. So the AfD party in Germany is a right-wing party, which is apparently in the second place in actually winning the elections in Germany, which will be happening very soon, which I will keep you all updated on. We've also got some news come from Denmark today, that the Danish Prime Minister has told Donald Trump that Greenland will make the decision on its independence, the Danish Prime Minister stated. She also empathized to Trump that Greenland is not for sale. We've also got some news today coming from Switzerland. So we've got news that the Swiss Defense Minister Vila Amherd has resigned. So the Swiss Defense Minister has announced her resignation. So this will be effective at the end of March, according to a statement from the Swiss Parliament on Wednesday via X. A new member of the Swiss cabinet will be elected as the new Defense Minister of Switzerland during the spring session to succeed her, and I'll keep you updated who the next Swiss Defense Minister will be. We've also got some news coming from the Baltic Sea that 2 NATO warships arrived in the Gulf of Finland. The defensive bloc has decided to boost the naval presence in the Baltic Sea in the Gulf of Finland due to an underwater cable actually being severed by I'm pretty sure it was a Chinese oil tanker, but I'll keep you updated on that. We've also got some news today coming from the United Kingdom, where British house prices have rose at their fastest annual pace in almost 2 years. Prices have rose at an average of 3.3% and rent by an average 9%, except for London at 11.5%. So I'll keep you updated on that. We've also got some statements coming from the Turkish President Erdogan. The Turkish President Erdogan stated that the YPG terrorist group in northern Syria, which has plundered Syria's natural resources, cannot escape its looming fate unless it disbands and lays down its arms. The most pressing issue in Syria is the YPG forces, which still occupies nearly a third of the country. Everyone should step back. Together with our Syrian brothers, we can swiftly crush both ISIS and the YPG and other terrorist groups in Syria. So this is the third ultimatum the the president of Turkey has sent to the Kurdish rebel group in northern eastern Syria. And we've also got news today that the Turkish Airlines have flights to Damascus, the capital city of Syria, will actually start on January the 23rd. So relations with the new government of Syria and Turkey has been expanding enormously. So Turkish Airlines are now set to start start in Syria, specifically in Damascus, on January the 23rd. We've also got news coming from Syria that the Spanish embassy has opened up in Damascus for the first time, I believe, in 13 to 12 years. And again, I'll keep you updated on that. We've also got some news coming from Iran that Iran's first locally made destroyer, called the Zagros, has actually been made. So if you can see this video here in your bottom left corner, we can see the naval ship that was locally made in Iran, equipped with advanced electromagnetic and electronic and cyber technology. So the Iranian government says this was actually made by Iran itself. It was locally made, and apparently it has the latest electronic and cyber technology equipment on it. It also has a helicopter pad on the back of the destroyer. So very interesting news. And probably one of the biggest news we're going to be talking today is that a ceasefire seems to have been reached regarding the war in Gaza. So a ceasefire agreement has been reached in Gaza, and a joint statement will be published soon, the Egyptian TV reports. So I'm going to really quickly simplify this, the Israeli-Hamas ceasefire deal. So I'll just really quickly summarize this ceasefire deal. So the agreement stipulates the release of 3 kidnapped people on the first day of the ceasefire, and 4 on the 7th day, and 13 on the 4th day. So on the 28th day of the ceasefire, 3 kidnapped people will be released, 3 on the 35th day, and the rest in the last week. We've also got news that Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, will hold a conference this evening with members of the Israeli negotiating delegation present in Doha, the capital city of Qatar. The Ministerial Cabinet for Political and Security Affairs may meet tonight, and ministers have modified their programs. So in the first stage of the deal, about 1,000 Palestinian prisoners will be released. Elite Hamas prisoners will not be released on the first stages of the ceasefire deal. The first state of the deal includes increasing humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip to 600 trucks a day. The Israeli army will withdraw to the Nazarim axis in the first stage of the agreement. As for this 22nd day, the implementation of the agreement, Gaza residents will be able to return to the northern Gaza Strip. Most of the Israeli army will withdraw from the Philadelphia axis, leaving a small force. So if you can see this video here, we can actually see huge amounts of humanitarian aid now flowing through Gaza now, with this new ceasefire agreement now being reached. So everything was going good until we had later news that Benjamin Netanyahu is now accusing of Hamas in breaking on the ceasefire deal and refuses to convene a cabinet meeting to approve an agreement. And we've just got a news right now that even though this ceasefire has apparently allegedly been signed and reached, there's been a huge Israeli airstrike on Gaza just hours after Hamas and Israel announced a ceasefire agreement, where a huge Israeli strike killed 82 people in Gaza. The only one attack near the Engineer Union building in Gaza killed at least 18 people, the agency added. So about at least 82 people have been killed, and I can't show you the footage. And if you do want to see the footage that I can't post on YouTube, you can actually see it in the non-scene news Telegram, which will be in the link in the description below. But it seems that even though this ceasefire agreement has been reached, it seems to be very shaky and can break at any point just with this huge Israeli airstrike that has just happened, that have apparently allegedly killed 82 people in Gaza. So, very interesting news. We've also got news today that the Israeli army announces the seizure of 3,300 combat tools from Syrian territory following the fall of Bashar al-Assad's government, including tanks, anti-tank weapons, ammunition, and equipment. So we see this video here. We can see the Israeli army actually evacuating the old Syrian army equipment from Bashar al-Assad's army, what used to be the National Syrian Army. So, very interesting news. And the next news we've gotten today is coming from France. We've got news that France actually completes troops withdrawal from Chad. So, we've just got news today that France has completed troop withdrawal from Chad. So, I'm pretty sure on today, so January the 17th, 2025, no French troops are now apparently based in the Central African country of Chad, and we can see this video here. This is allegedly one of the last flights and the withdrawal of French troops in Chad to obviously go back to France after the country of Chad demanded the French troops to withdraw. And the next news we've gotten today is coming from India, and more specifically coming from India's Navy. So we've just got news today that India has just commissioned 3 warships, one being a submarine, one being a destroyer, and one being frigate, all of them being made in India and joining the Indian Navy in one day. So the destroyer, I'll just go through each of the ships and its capabilities. So the destroyer is a guided missile destroyer and the successor of the Kaltea class destroyer. It achieves speeds of 30 knots during trials and is the Indian Navy's first AI-enabled warship. So the stealth frigate ship is an advanced stealth and sea-keeping ship, and is equipped with the BrahMos missiles and vertical launch systems for the SAMS missiles. We've also got news that in the frigate, the frigate's got a 76mm gun and the AK-630 close-in weapon system. And the last ship we noted is a submarine. So this submarine is called the Vashia, and it is a diesel electric submarine, and that's all we've gotten from that submarine. So the Indian Navy brings in 3 ships in one day in its navy, and that's a submarine, destroyer, and a frigate, all in one day, and all made in India. We've also got some news today coming from China. That the Chinese historic lunar mission comes to an end. So China's Yutu-2 rover, the first to explore the far side of the moon, appears immobile after 6 years of running, according to NASA. The reasons still remain unclear, but the China Yutu-2 rover has seems to be not working anymore, this is the first robot ever to land on the far side of the moon, and it is apparently now stopped after 6 years of running and doing tests on the far side of the moon. And the next news we've gotten today is coming from Canada, where we've just gotten news that Justin Trudeau, the ex-Prime Minister of Canada, will not be running in the upcoming election. So he will not be continuing with his political career, according to Justin Trudeau himself. He might be in the Canadian Parliament still doing debates, but Justin Trudeau will not be running as the Prime Minister of Canada in the next elections in Canada. I'll keep you updated who becomes the new Liberal leader of the Canadian Party. We've also got news today that Trump has revealed its inauguration portrait. So Donald Trump's official presidential portrait has been published ahead of his inauguration in 5 days. So you can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see Trump's new presidential portrait compared to his last year one. Not his last year one, his last presidential portrait. We've also got news that JD Vance also had his portrait. So you can see here, JD Vance's official inauguration portrait has been dropped. If you can see here. And the last news we've gotten today is that Trump's interest in Greenland is driven by its vast oil and gas reserves, reports are stating. They believe that 31.4 billion barrels of oil are in Greenland, and 148 trillion cubic feet of natural gas is also in Greenland as well. This is according to reports we've gotten from Telegram, and that's all the news that I've actually gotten for you today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And I've also just made a donation thing, a Patreon. So if you guys do want to support me personally, there is a PayPal link in the description where you can personally help me and continue what I'm trying to do in YouTube. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and like. I really do appreciate it. But that's all the news I've gotten today. I'm Non-C News. I'll try and provide you news that medias around the world do not show you. I do these videos hopefully daily, so consider subscribing and liking. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.